Good evening. It is now 7 o'clock, and I would like to call to order the September 28th, 2017 meeting of the Novi Library Board of Trustees. Trustee Verma, would you please do the roll call?
Thank you, sir. I will. Trustee Melissa Augusta.
Here.
Trustee William Lawler.
Here.
Trustee Craig Mazanek.
Here.
Trustee Tara Mesner.
Here.
Trustee Doreen Popper.
Here.
Trustee Ramesh Verma, present. Trustee Geoff Wood.
Present.
Student Representative Lihari Vavilala.
Here.
Student Representative Veena Joshi, she is sick.
Absent
Absent
excuse.
Everybody.
Very good, thank you. Now, if everyone would please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if everyone would start by looking at our agenda for this evening. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda or wish to make any modifications to it at this point in time? If not, is there a
I
motion?
move approval.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Great. Moving ahead to point number 5, the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of 2 parts, the approval of claims and warrants L-558 and the approval of the regular meeting minutes from the board meeting from August 24th, 2017.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Everything passed unanimously. Great. We are down to correspondence, and I do believe we have some.
We do. If you start on page 14, the first is a thank you from the Novi Youth Assistants. Dave Johnson, who is the golf outing chair, the library made a small donation for marketing and to show support of the event. Novi Youth Assistants is one of our partners for our Teen Space program as well as other programs that we do cooperatively, and we made a small donation to support their event. On page 15 is a thank you from Amelia Purdy Ketchum, Recreation Supervisor for our Parks and Recreation Department at the City of Novi. This is for the library's support and attendance and also the availability to be part of our sizzling summer that we do every year. We have programming that happens every Wednesday in the morning at the event, and this year, which was quite unique, as we actually moved around to different parks this year. We weren't just in First Park. So this is a thank you from Amelia for the library supporting that, and if you look on page 16, there were some photos from some of the different events that did take place over at First Park and at Lakeshore this summer. We've been a part of that program now for many years. It's a great partnership. We love to be doing these programs, and we appreciate the Parks and Rec Department for including the library in this opportunity. On page 17 is a thank you dated from September 16th, which would have been one day after the September 15th event that we had, where we hosted Fox Run and over 120 Fox Run residents at the library. This is a thank you from Sandy Pennington, one of the residents. I want to share first, I want to thank Sandy for sending us the note and truly appreciate her recognizing the event. I want you to know that not only did I receive a written letter, I received emails, phone calls, Facebook posts, all from different residents from Fox Run following the event on how much they enjoyed it. And so we will definitely look to do something, I think, in the spring. It was just a wonderful opportunity to connect with our Fox Run residents, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know, Trustee Poupard, if you wanted to add anything at this time.
You had 10% of the population present at the library.
Yes.
And people talked about it for days after.
Yes.
And people also not only danced and enjoyed food and enjoyed the ambiance, but they also learned about different services in the library, and some of them are saying, oh, I'm going down to Florida, and now I'm going to get all my books on my Kindle, and those kinds of comments. So thank you for making it available.
Absolutely.
It was
I
great.
had, first of all, a wonderful team at the library that helped put it together, but I also want to thank Peggy Mather and Tom Hollinshead and Jerry Angel. Those 3 individuals from Fox Run helped us put this event together, and it was a great partnership. Like I said, we will definitely do it again because it was
And
very
it was wonderful to
successful.
have Trustee Verma
Yes.
available there
Yes,
also.
it was. So I
you.
thank you for attending that night. And do you have anything you'd like to say,
No,
Trustee
thank you, I
Verma?
really enjoyed it.
It was.
I never expected this much like that, but it
I
was
know.
very nice.
Yeah. So now we have to top that. You know, it's always hard when you have a great event, and you're like, oh, how do you make it better the next time? Well,
You have a
we
good
have a great team to
reputation.
work with, so we're excited. I can tell you also, I received a call today from Tom from Fox Run, and because of that event in September, we have set up 2 potential dates to go over to Fox Run in the evening when they do like their happy hour and dinner time, where we can do some library card sign up, just knowing that they continue to get new residents all the time. Though they identified some good times for us to connect with some of the residents who might not have cards.
I think that was a missing opportunity at the gathering, because several people came and said, I wanted
Yes.
to renew my library card, and there was no one there,
Yep,
so.
I agree. And we will look into doing that for the spring
Next
event.
time. That's good.
Yep, change it up and do something more.
And obviously, all the comments I've heard about that were wonderful. Question, are there other facilities, and I think there are, that would be like Fox
Yes.
Run?
Right.
Maybe we don't want to
Absolutely.
do the same thing, but to reach out to them
Yes.
for similar type purposes, if you will.
Absolutely.
I know there's a new one going in off of Beck.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
The
Rose.
Rose.
Road,
Mhm.
and there's
Yes.
some others.
Oh, there are many, many.
Yep.
You know, we have a special relationship with Fox Run, but there's no reason not to have other special relationships.
I completely agree with you. And what was great about this is, for lack of better words, we used them as guinea pigs to see what that response was going to be like. Were they even going to find this an interesting event to come to? And I think that was answered just by the way, first of all, it booked in 2 days, which shocked us completely. We didn't think we were going to be that popular, and we were. And then we said we were only going to do 100 attendees, and we actually opened it up to even more, just based on the need and the want to be involved. So we will. I think this, now that we've kind of gone through a process and we know how we can plan an event like that for them and what might be of interest, we can definitely open it up to other facilities, yes.
It's just that Fox Run is by far the largest.
Right.
With independent living
Yep.
numbers in particular. There are many, many other facilities around that in many cases have a higher number of assisted living and memory care. And so it's the independent living piece that we need to look at, as well as some assisted living.
Yeah, that's why I said maybe not the same program.
Right.
Exactly.
But some sort of
Absolutely.
outreach
Absolutely.
to, if nothing else, promote library services,
Correct.
what we do,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
And maybe
Absolutely.
modify it based on need.
Right.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No, thank you for the comments, because this was a great opportunity just to see how this would go, so thank you very much. On page 18, this is one of the emails that was received, and this was from Jerry Angel, who is a Fox Run resident and was on the planning committee. Just her kudos and thanks for what we did for the event. So I'm happy to take any other questions related to that if you have any. No? Okay, great, thank you.
That takes care of correspondence, I think.
Yes.
And we do not have a special guest tonight.
We do not.
So we will move on to the first public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect a 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore, board members will not respond directly to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Library Board of Trustees. Seeing no one rushing forward to the podium, we will move on to the student representatives report.
For the programs that took place in August, there was the Teen After Hours Party, which took place on August 4th. This was a lock-in where teens who completed the summer reading program enjoyed a make-your-own Sunday bar, movies, games, prizes, and much more. The attendance for that was 29. The Life-Size Pac-Man program took place on August 15th. Attendees played a live-action version of the popular game, and the attendance for that was 20. The third session of Comic Art Camp took place on August 17th. Attendees used graphic tablets to enhance their comic art designs. The attendance for that was 5. And the DIY Back to School Bags program took place on August 22nd. Those who attended added designs and decorations to their own personal tote bags, and the attendance for that was 24. And finally, the college application essay workshop took place on August 22nd and August 29th. Attendees got to submit a draft of their college application essay to the presenter and get feedback. Attendance for that on the 22nd was 11, and attendance for that on the 29th was 6. For the Teen Space update, there was no Teen Space for the month of August, and for the Teen Advisory Board update, there was no Teen Advisory Board for the month of August. The upcoming programs for the month of October are If You Give a Tween a Cupcake on October 10th, the Eats and Treats Teen Cooking Club Cake Decorating on October 17th, the Teen Advisory Board meeting on October 20th, the Virtual Reality Showcase on October 22nd, the Pizza and Pages Book Club on October 25th, and for the captions for the pictures, teens having fun playing Life-Size Pac-Man at the Life-Size Pac-Man program. And for the second picture, an attendee shows the bag she made at the DIY Back to School Bags program.
Nicely done.
Any questions regarding the report?
You're busy.
Even in the summer, right, with the last month of August, I think our numbers were down a little bit, but I can tell you that's, usually getting back to school and last minute vacations and things like that, we have tended to see the numbers a little less than what July and June were when we first kicked off and did some of our programming, but still very good programs and some good attendance as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we will not be doing a goals update. As you remember, we're doing those quarterly, so we will move on to the treasurer's report.
Well, that happened quickly.
Moving through.
All right, so the budget starts on page 22 and goes all the way through page 26. Approved budget for Fund 268, fiscal year 2017-18, calls for revenue of $2,901,020, and expenditures, which is on page 26, expenditures are $3,032,496, potentially consuming $131,476 of the fund balance. The budget for Fund 269 is on page 27, and the 2017 proposed budget calls for revenue of $48,500 and expenditures of $118,465, using $69,965 of the fund balance. Any questions about that?
I just want to note on page 27, the notation that I included and I highlighted in yellow. So I wanted to give you the 269 budget as it is. I'll make that new budget line number. I'll make that effective in the actual budget
Okay.
for next time.
So the numbers won't change, they'll just be reallocated.
Right, there'll be just a new budget line number that makes more sense for her in terms of accounting.
Okay, excellent. The revenue and expenditure report for fiscal year 2017-18 for Fund 269 starts on page 28 and ends on page 31. So on page 31 is the summary. So if we look at page 31, revenue year-to-date is effective August 31st is $158,913.69, which is an increase of $108,484 from last month. Our expenditures year-to-date are $407,414.10, which is an increase of $237,912 from the previous month. We are still waiting for our tax returns
Right.
to arrive, and that usually is in,
We should be seeing it next month
October,
because,
okay.
right, because of the summer
Right.
taxes and everything. That usually happens in August.
okay, great. All right, page 32, revenue and expenditure report for Fund 269.
I just received a notice, if you can pull your microphones closer to you, it sounds like they're not getting good feedback on our responses or our communication.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Page 32, Revenue and Expenditure Report for Fund 269. Revenues are $8,824.23, and expenditures are $4,965.65. Any questions about revenue and expenditure before I go on to balance sheet?
You said, Melissa, based on where we are so far, we were projected to use some of the excess fund.
That was based on budget.
Is that normal this time of year?
Yes.
Or does it really mean much at this
No.
point?
Yes and no. It's the budget that we set at last year, and so budget is budget. And then the expenditure and revenue is really giving to where we're at and showing you how we're doing as we go along. Right now, it's not a good time to look at it because we're showing that we're negative $248,500, but that's because we haven't received our full revenue yet.
Yep.
You're welcome. Right. All right, balance sheet. Balance sheet for Fund 268. Sorry, I lost my place here. Is ending fund balance $1,591,489.32. That's on page 33. And fund balance for Fund 269, which is on page 34, ending fund balance is $1,701,805.02. So one little thing I thought I would point out, and please someone correct me if I'm incorrect, on page 31, year-to-date, end balance 6/30/17. So this is still preliminary, correct? Where it's showing revenues of $2,842,000. So our fiscal year 16/17 has ended. All of the invoices have been submitted, but they may not have been processed yet. But right now, we're showing a net revenue of $85,768,007 preliminary. So for last year, it's showing that we have $85,000 in the green.
Trustee Augusta, you're correct.
Okay.
And at this point, what we are currently waiting on is the audit. So typically that happens in September, October. Once that audit is completed, then the numbers will be finalized, and I can say that that number is pretty good and pretty close, but until that final audit is completed, which we will have done soon, then we'll be able to actually publish and utilize those numbers for an annual report.
I know you guys always like to know, so
Yes.
that's why I just thought I'd bring
Yep.
that up.
Great.
Any
great response.
questions? Thank you.
Very good, thank you. We are going to move on to the director's report.
Okay. We are on page 35. We have a board matter, board action, which we'll take care of in just a little bit on the agenda. But on page 35, just to note, and I apologize, if you look on page 2, under the Finance Committee, there was an omission of some information there. It says library director met with, and you were left without some details. Well, I'll give you those details at this time. On page 35, I had the opportunity to have a meeting with Jessica Striegel. She's from the Northville Community Foundation, just to continue conversations about a potential endowment for the library and that potential opportunity that could be something to look into. This was something, and actually Trustee Messernick and Trustee Vierma would be the two board members that back at that time were still on the board. When we had a preliminary conversation with this particular group, I think it warrants an opportunity to look back, which is why I engaged in the meeting with Jessica. She unfortunately is going to be going on maternity leave. And so we had a preliminary conversation. I'd like members of the Finance Committee to meet with me when she returns in January so we can further discussions on, that potential conversation, just as an option for continuing to look into an endowment for the library.
Good.
Beyond that, it's just a lot of out and abouts, if you can see this. I think this is one of my longest. Lots of meetings this past month, lots of events and meetings in September. Pretty excited for what we've been able to do. I want to thank President Messernack because he did attend the City of Novi Ambassador Academy with me last week, which is 16 members of the community wanting to learn more about city government, and the library's presentation was last week. What I included in your packet was page 37 and 38, which is one of the documents that Trustee Messernack and I shared. This has been updated, so it's definitely good information for you if you ever have the opportunity and you need some talking points. You have them in your packet. Yes.
If I could just make a comment
Sure.
on that, it was quite interesting because we had a lot of interaction with the people in the ambassador class, a lot of questions and everything. Secondly, Julie took everyone on a tour of the art in our building, and I wish I could have videotaped it so you could see it. She not only knows so much about all that art, but is so enthusiastic about it. It was just wonderful. And I know it left a great impression on the people in the class to see what was there and also just to see the excitement that we have and that Julie has with that. It was really, really
Thank you.
well done. I got several comments from people just as I was standing in the back.
awesome.
So
Great.
it was very nice. Good job.
Thank you. I was able to replicate. It was great because it was twofold, because we actually did the same art tours for the Fox Run residents that came over. So even more people have had the chance. We have some really unique art.
do.
And
You do.
I'm developing docents, with some of the staff and some of our volunteers, which we had a couple Friends members serve as docents at the Fox Run event, and then we also had a member of our historical commission take part as well. So we incorporated 3 different groups, the library, the Friends, and the historical commission that night, to be docents and talk about the artwork. And this is where we're kind of going with that. We now can start sharing that story a little bit, and I would love for people to know more about our artwork. And when they walk in, I sometimes think they just don't see it. They're too fixated on, getting in and getting what they need, but there's some real gems to that building that are just one of a kind. So it was a pleasure, but also it is a lot of fun to be sharing something like that. They just don't realize how cool some of that is. But thank you. Lots of fun, definitely, to be sharing those stories. On page 39, if you haven't heard from me in a while, because this is my current stress, and it's a good stress, and it's that we've been nominated for the National Medal for Museum and Library Services. This is the biggest award a library can receive across the country. And the nomination was made by our Congressman, David Trott. And when I got that email and then the letter followed, I was pretty excited. So Christina and I, for the past week and a half, have been working diligently to write up our submission, and it will be submitted hopefully by Friday night, which is tomorrow, or by early morning on Monday, which is the deadline. So we've worked on some weekends, we've worked evenings to put together. It's narrowing down to 4 pages only, what it means for us to be a national medal winner. And they're focusing on a few topics of underserved and at-risk children and families. They're focusing on servicing veterans and military families. They're focusing on, sorry, I'm trying to remember everything at one time. There's a few different categories, the unemployed and the underemployed. When I read through it, I felt really good about writing up the submission. We have some amazing things to talk about with our library. And what's pretty amazing, which is a kudos to all of you, is that they tie back consistently in the questions to the strategic plan. Had I not had a strategic plan to work from diligently that we use and not just have sit on a shelf, but we actually examine that plan on a regular basis, I wouldn't be able to write this. So thank you for making that an important part of what we do. You know, some people don't think that strategic plan, you do it and then it doesn't go anywhere. We really have used that document as a living document with the library, and almost every question goes back to, well, how does it refer back to your strategic plan and how are you using it? So we've had a lot of fun writing it, her and I. I promise you will see the final product. It'll be in next month's board packet, but we will submit it by Monday, and fingers crossed, we won't find out anything until spring of 2018, but I feel very good in the 3 supportive letters that we received. You can only have 3 that have to go with the document. We received submissions from our mayor. We received a submission from a patron, a regular patron who has children, and we received a submission from one of our assistant superintendent of schools, based on some of the things we're doing. So I feel really good about the nomination letters as well.
Do we know what Representative Trott said about us when he nominated us?
Nope, this is all I have at this point.
Okay.
What will be wonderful is if you can join me on the 16th of October, I believe it was a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
I think Tuesday the 16th. Congressman Trott will be at the library because we also, through him, received a donation of new materials coming from the Library of Congress and working with them. Subject areas were sent. We don't know exactly what materials are going to be donated, but they will be new books that will go in the collection. He will be at the library at 1 o'clock, and we will do a big presentation from him. So hopefully we can ask him a few more questions.
Coming back to this, it is national.
It is a national award. It is the biggest award that a library can
But do you
receive.
know how many others are in the nation?
I don't, but I can tell you that the only Michigan library that I know of that has won the award is the West Bloomfield Library, which was close to 10 years ago. I don't believe there's been another Michigan library except for West Bloomfield.
Like ever.
In Michigan. There's been other libraries,
Sure.
but yes.
No, in Michigan,
Yes, as
ever.
far as I know, yes, ever.
Okay.
So I believe, should we win, we would be the second in Michigan.
There's only one
Big
award
deal.
given each year?
No, they give out a couple. It depends on the submissions and how many, but they can award
Big
different.
library, small library, like that?
I don't know if it's, they don't share like how it's broken down in terms of categories, but I know that there's multiple winners per year.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm excited about just the nomination,
nomination,
so,
yeah.
that had me pretty excited in itself, but we're working hard to get it done, and hopefully you'll be proud of what's being put in there. I feel really good about it.
And you should be excited about it.
Yeah. So, okay, following on page 40, wanted you to see a certificate of appreciation for the Novi Public Library for its continued support of Money Smart Week, which happens every year, and Novi Library
Awesome.
is a catalyst for this program and getting books out to our local libraries in Michigan to provide this program, always in April and for one week. So we're very excited about being a partner. On page 41, we had the opportunity to meet with our wonderful school media specialists and superintendents and principals on Monday, just this past Monday. We do this annually to have a breakfast with them, to connect with them, and then also to thank them for their support of summer reading and how they help us, get the kids excited and keep pushing them as they get towards the end of the school year, so to not forget about summer reading and being a part of it. Our numbers were close to 3,000 this year. We'd like to see over 3,000 next year for summer reading. Our numbers continue to grow for summer reading. So we were able to share information about some programs going on with them. We were able to introduce our new early literacy specialist, Emily Brush, which she will be here in October and give a small presentation to you so you can hear from her and what her goals and what she's planning to do this year. And then we talked a little bit about the Enable project, which is actually on page 42, and you are aware of this launch on Monday, October 2nd. So this is another amazing and out-of-the-box project that we've been able to get involved with some of our students from the high school, and the creation of prosthetic hands for children in third world countries being made from 3D printers, including ours at the library, and an opportunity for the community to be part of an assembly day where they will be able to come in and assemble a hand and then be part of giving this hand to a child in need. So I'm really excited about that program as well. Page 43 is our Authors Live Luncheon, so if anyone is available and wants to attend, this is always at Fox Run, a wonderful opportunity to work with the Your Own University group, which is a wonderful committee of ladies at Fox Run, and they've helped me select our authors this year and then bring this to the community as a great event.
It's open to the public.
It is, it's open to the public and then Fox
It's usually
Run.
about 30 to 40% outside people, even though it is held at Fox Run, but
Yes.
you all are welcome to come.
Yes, and it tends to, our attendance has always been close to about 100, if not a little higher. So it's a wonderful event to connect with authors, and I find them to be artists, and these are new books, newly released books that will be out, and it's just a great time to connect with them and their book. Following on page 44 is the Information Technology Report from Barb Rakowski. As you can see, there's a lot going on, and Barb's team is actually taking a part in the Enable project and helping with the 3D printing that's going on and working with the community part of it that we will have and launch. On page 45 is the report from Keith Perfect for facilities. Good things there. One of the things right now that's on Keith's radar is two things. One, we're in October, which is Fire Safety Month. We're doing the review of our fire lighting and having our fire inspection, which we do every October. So he's gearing up for that and for that to happen. We also hold a public fire drill in October. So those are things he's currently working on. He's also starting a safety committee with our staff. This will be a new committee this year, and he will work closely with the staff, feedback, reviewing policies and things that we need. So we're excited that that's going to be starting. And he's also started or continuing to work on the LED project, which I'll provide some more information to you. Following at the bottom of page 46 is the Information Services Report from April Stevenson. I want to just make note to Patriot Week and us recognizing that. There's a photo there on page 46 in the library, always supporting that. And then moving on to page 48, currently we have 472 children that are registered for our 1,000 books before kindergarten. Our goal of 16-17 was 250, and you can see how well we did and how we're moving along. Emily Brush, who I talked about, who's our new early literacy specialist, she's going to be taking that campaign hopefully farther and making more connections and seeing those numbers increase this year. She has not come up with her goal for this year, but hopefully we'll be sharing that soon.
It was exciting for me to see how many are edging close to the 1,000 books.
Yes.
You know, you've got people 18 at 900 and 18 at 800,
Right.
that
They're making it.
yes.
They keep
When
working
is
towards
the
that.
deadline?
There is no deadline. It's how they work, and then because it's constantly moving and growing. So what we're going to do, though, is actually the numbers, since this was put into place, I do know that it's 16 children that have reached the 1,000 books.
Terrific.
Yes, and I do know that the Information Services children's librarians are currently working on a party to celebrate those kids, because we don't want to lose them. We want them to know how important reaching that goal was. So there's going to be a party planned for those children.
What's the gender? I would assume there would be more girls, but I would hope.
You know
that-
what? Actually,
Just a wonder.
we don't ask that on our information, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, unfortunately.
It would-
I can vouch for one of the boys, though.
Yes.
It would be wonderful if we had more boys, just
would
because
be.
you would expect.
And you know what, with our new, let me see if I can do something with maybe starting to track some of that
That
information.
would be good.
Yep, with the youth department, absolutely.
You could probably get some really good analytics at the party, too.
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
Little survey or-
right.
Is your son one of the 1,000?
Yeah, he
I
was
would
one of
think
the
so.
earlier ones.
It's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
2,000.
Well, I told trustee Mitchner that she can continue to use the forms.
We do. It's a lot of work for the parents, too, so
Yes,
that they
it
should get
is.
kudos as well.
It is,
in
kudos to the
tracking.
parents.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even a thought along those lines, maybe even a tip sheet for the parents, because I came up with some creative ideas that I think helped me and Jason.
Maybe
Jason's my
you
husband.
can, would you mind sharing some of that, and then we can?
I can.
Yeah, 'cause
Do you want me
you
to
can-
send you a document?
Yes, please.
I can do that.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
great.
Would love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Page 49 is support services. So as you can see, lots of outreach, new cards. Library cards issued 563. I'll be able to give you some statistics on how our library card campaign finished up next month, and we'll be able to talk further about that. And
Is
then-
this only
Yes.
for the month of August?
It is.
That's what I wondered. Thank
Right.
you.
Yeah. And then following are your statistics. I did put everything in. I know we've talked about paring it down, but just because it's the early part of the year, I'd like for you to see some of these stats and, it just gives you a good idea of where we're starting at this point. Happy to answer any questions if you have any regarding some of those statistics. They're faring very well. One thing I do want to mention, and this was brought up by Barb, is that currently, and I know we're only 2 months in, but we're trending about 1,300 users of the library right now, averaging. That tends to go down a little bit as the months go on, just because of usage in different months where we tend to be busier, but we are a little higher right now.
I had
And
a
then-
question
yes.
about one of the items from the facilities report.
Sure, that's on page,
46.
okay,
That, we had two separate HVAC issues, and they were corrected. Do we have a warranty for that system, or do we have to pay for those as they occur?
we don't have a warranty anymore based on the years, well, I take that back. We have some of the equipment is warranted based on the years, but we're already into year 8 of the building. So the issues that we had occur had to do with the air conditioning unit, and in certain areas, it not working properly. So we, 8 years in, we are looking at some of those things and some of the issues for maintenance. We have a regular maintenance plan, so just so you're aware, we have regular checks, filter changes. They come out, they do startups and shutdowns and changeovers from the air conditioning to the heating system. Those types of things are done and are covered under maintenance that we do. But if there is a faulty, issue, or if the machine or the system goes down in any way, then it's something that we have to call them in on and have them look at.
On page 44 in the IT report, you
Yes.
mentioned that 6 security cameras were replaced with upgraded models.
And those were part of our replacement.
Is that to give us additional functionality? Were the other ones not working, or?
They're out of date and not supported anymore. And now with the technology, the way it's changed, it's better visuals and better security, like viewing. So they've been upgraded and improved. And that's over a 7-year period. So the equipment becomes obsolete. And we know that in the cycle that we go ahead to renew. So it's better equipment at this point and better viewing. The difference in what we had versus what we have now with the new, much crisper, easier to see. Some of them were fuzzier, and it was just
Okay.
the way that the
Good.
technology has changed.
I had a quick question in
Yes.
regards to summer reading. So I know that you started earlier this year, which
We
is a
did.
big deal for us. And I also noticed that I still get at least a weekly digest email in regards to, it was started during the summer reading program, but I'm still getting it in regards to my son's participation. It's great. It's not a bad thing.
Okay.
But you look shocked.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I know they had some glitches.
Okay.
It was a new software that we worked with this year, so there were some bugs.
Okay.
And, which we've been able to identify to work with the company for next year. I'll find out if that is
Yes.
one of them.
Yes, so I'm still getting that, and that's fine. So my question was, if you've been able to make any good comparisons, draw any good stats on starting typical time versus
Right.
this new improved change, and then the next question was going to be, because I'm still getting those digests,
Right.
when they're going to stop, or
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was wondering.
I will find that out. I can tell you that by starting earlier, obviously our numbers actually went up.
Yeah.
And our adult participation went up from it was it was the high 100s. Our adult participation went to over 500 this year.
Wow.
I couldn't believe I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was in the water, but adults really wanted to be part of the summer reading program this year.
Yeah,
And that was
that's great.
amazing. So, and I do believe it's some of our staff trying to target our adults differently and let them understand that they're just as important as the kids being part of the summer reading program, and encouraging a parent to do it with a child
And that's the thing, there was a lot of changes. So anything that you can give us, because April came and made that presentation about how it was a little bit more experiential with the booklets.
Yes.
We didn't just have them for the early readers.
Right.
We also have them for different age groups, which I thought was excellent. So,
Yes.
and even including the schools in that. A lot of differences that you guys did, or that we, not you guys, that we did this year.
What we found, one of the glitches that we found was that it wasn't calculating families' last names. Like, we had some data that didn't get recorded, and
Bummer,
it was
okay.
based on the actual software.
Okay.
But what we do track is the schools and how they do, and I
Yeah.
will see if I can get some of that information for you.
It would be nice to know that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions regarding the director's report?
Looks like it was a pretty good month.
Yes, it was.
All right, we'll move ahead to the committee reports. The policy and HR, I don't think there's anything, well, policy, there's nothing new. HR, is there anything new?
Yes.
Do you want me to, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. So we got to have a meeting recently. Ramesh and Julie and Marcia actually joined in as well. So we basically are still working and plugging along on salary and compensation information. We are looking at potentially needing a consultant, and Julie will have more information for you on that later, but it looks like we've done a lot of good work with our expertise, but now it seems like somebody a little bit more specialized that can really dig in may need to be tapped.
And we're meeting actually on Monday, the HR committee, so I'll have further information for you.
Yeah.
We might not have to go with a consultant based on
Okay.
some feedback I got from some library directors by reaching out, which was fantastic. So I'll be able to give you that update and some information where we might be going. But it is moving in the right direction. Definitely we're on target when it comes to budget for good conversations that we'll have. And then do you want to talk about vacation buyback?
Absolutely. So there's a buyback program that was actually introduced by the city, and it's new. And of course, our library staff is considered city employees. So we're looking at offering them the opportunity to be able to do that. It would impact our budget, so that's something that we definitely want to talk about on a deeper level. But for those people who don't ever take a vacation, it's a really nice morale builder. It's really nice for them to be able to still get compensated, if you will, like everyone else, even though they may not have anywhere to go or want to leave because their library is so awesome. So whatever the reason, who knows, that program is something that we're looking at. Now, I think that you did get an email from
Yes.
Julie already on that, so
Yes.
with details, because we are looking to make a decision on that tonight. We actually have to. We have to make a decision on that tonight because there's deadlines with the city.
Right.
Isn't part of the rationale is that the city is doing this and that we would be in compliance with the city HR that has just renewed this, and why is coming to us late, that the city just made the decision?
The city just made the decision.
Yeah.
It came through council to award this opportunity for full-time staff. I received an email on September 11th that was the information, and the decisions had to be made October 1st. That's actually over the weekend. Based on when I got the information, I was able to call HR, knowing that our board meeting was tonight. I have been given a few extra days so that depending on what the outcome of that decision is this evening, I will have some time to work with some of the staff. If there are staff that could be eligible, that we would be able to communicate that to them.
What was the policy before this? I mean, is this a new policy, or I'm
It's
just trying to...
actually not. It's in our policy that the director has the discretion to offer this, an actual vacation buyback. But because we didn't talk about this in budget, I didn't have the budget numbers for you approved. The city, actually, this is new to them. We've actually had it, but it's more a budget issue for us. I wouldn't have even had to bring it to you. I haven't looked into or done this In the years that I've been here, I've not entertained the idea, but it is in our policy that we can allow it.
So people can accumulate their vacation unlimited right
No,
now?
no. People can, based on they can only roll over so much. They are encouraged, first of all, let me tell you, they are encouraged to take their
That's
vacation.
right.
I don't want anyone not to, have the opportunity to be taking their vacation time. But there are people on staff, based on the years they've been here, that they've accumulated enough, and maybe they're not going anywhere, or they don't have anything where they're taking the time off. They can only roll over so much, which is up to 2 weeks for a full-time person, which is 80 hours. But there still might be people not taking that time either, and so the opportunity to do that up to the maximum of 40 hours to do a buyback is in our current policy based on director discretion. Again, based on budget and me not budgeting that at this time, and the city now is putting this into place, I didn't want us to look like the library wasn't doing it based on what they're moving forward with. So it's twofold.
But we don't know if people will actually take the.
We don't.
So
We
that's a-
don't.
that's a-
Yes, so I gave you an amount based on the employees that I know could benefit from this. Again, they might have already decided on their vacation time and they might not use it all. So I gave you that figure and it could be less, but that would be the max.
Worst case.
Absolutely.
I have two questions.
Sure.
Number one, how many weeks vacation does a full-time person
Depends on the
receive?
years that they work. It depends on years.
So it's more than 2 weeks.
It can be, depending on the years that, yep.
So with this particular buyback, how far back in years do you go to give credit?
It's just this
Is it
year.
back 1 year only?
It's just the current year.
Okay, thank
And they
you.
have to have a maximum of 80 hours still in their bank, and they can only take a maximum of 40 hours to buy out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Refresh my memory, do we treat vacation days and I'll call them sick days or personal, do we treat those differently? Or is a day not at work, a day not at work?
No, we have two separate. We do have sick days and we have vacation days. They are two separate banks.
So in theory, someone could be paid back for a week of vacation, and then if they needed time off, they could be off sick.
If they were sick.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but 1 or 2 days are okay, then they have to get the medical certificate after 3 days.
Correct. There's a note, based on multiple days being out, there's a requirement for a doctor's note. Yes.
And is this intended to be a 2017 only, or?
No, what I'd like to do in the future, knowing that the city has rolled this out as a new opportunity ongoing from now on, I will go ahead, as I put in my notes, I will make that part of budgeting to put that in for future, so that if there are some, we can offer that opportunity to some staff who might qualify. I have a lot of staff, just so you know, that do use all of their vacation time. I really do. And it is encouraged that they
Yes, I
do
would hope so.
take time away from the office.
Yeah.
Truly.
Do you know of the 5 employees who are eligible, if they all have 80 hours banked at this
I
point
do.
in
I know
time?
that already, that there's a potential for 5 employees.
Okay.
At this point, I don't know if they've already planned to take it and will they
Right.
actually take a buyout. That I won't know until I have that conversation with them. So I went based on who had those maximums. And it's, just so you know, it's not just longtime staff. There are some staff that are newer, that have the hours, they just, have accumulated.
We have to have a move the motion for this.
I think we can wait till our
I'm
matters
not-
for board action.
Okay, right, so
Yeah.
right now we're just asking questions because I have
Absolutely.
comments, so I
Sure.
will hold my comments.
Yep.
Wasn't sure.
All
if
right,
it's
well,
time.
No,
yeah, I
right.
guess
I
we-
know, we're having this discussion a little bit, so yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, we did kind of talk about it a little bit before we were going to vote on it, so we'll go through the other committee reports. Events and marketing, we talked about the library campaign
Finance.
and Fox Run. I'm sorry?
Finance, did you do finance?
Well, yeah, Julie addressed,
That was my note of the endowment. I
Okay.
apologize
Thank
for
you. Okay, thank you.
for the lack of language there. I apologize.
I think we talked about the 3 things in events and marketing. Is there anything you
Yes.
want to add to that?
No, it's all
Okay.
covered.
All right. Strategic planning,
It seems that strategic planning is not finished, but rather ready to start up, because there's a need to see, the current plan expires June of next year, 2018, and so some preliminary talking as to what are the next steps, because of the critical importance of a strategic plan not being outdated and let aside. So to keep it on the front burner is critical. And what are we going to do about it? So it seems that we're going to be having
need to meet.
some work, Jeff.
Yes, yes. You're going to be, right. I'll be calling on you. And just a note of, there was a typo. It says review completed in November. That should be 2016, not 2017.
That's right.
That's when we did our review last year. So I apologize for that change, for that mistake there. At this Building and Landscape Committee, there were a couple things there just to make you aware. You received an email and some information in regard to our building, our landscape vendor. All of you received that, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. And then just so you know, we are moving forward with the LED lighting project. On Monday, we received lighting examples in the building. Keith Perfect from Facilities is currently installing those examples. It will take a couple weeks for him to do that. The company or vendor that we're working with currently for these specifications, they've brought in some areas, 3 different options. And so he's currently putting them in and seeing if that option works. If it doesn't, he's using another option, and then we're reviewing. So it will take a few weeks for that to happen. Then Peter Basso, the company we're working with, wants to come out, wants to do an evaluation, wants to take lighting samples and meter readings of the lighting so that it matches certain requirements. And then I'll be working and asking for the building committee to come in and do some of that review to look at how it fares in terms of moving forward with the actual specifications that we would hope to be putting out in November.
I just would like to comment again on how wise it was for you and the backing of this board to bring in a consultant to really do this right, so that we weren't just kind of like hanging on our own.
No, I truly
So-
appreciate having this expertise, yes.
Good. I think we have reached the second point for public comment. Again, in order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the board requests that speakers respect a 5-minute time limit. It is not a question and answer session, therefore the library board members will not respond to questions. It's an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Library Board of Trustees. And once again, seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to matters for board action. We have one thing which we have at least had some initial discussion on. At this point in time, I would open it up to hear comments from board members.
I have two comments. One, I definitely think it's something we have to do. It's citywide. That's not even a choice, and it's a great option. But 2, why do we have to change our budget? Why? Why can't we just leave our budget as is? Yes, it may be over 6,000, but I am not in favor of changing the budget. The budget's the budget. If we keep doing this, why do we even have a budget?
It's a very fair question, and you are welcome. I wanted to give you just some background and give you numbers as to how it would change potentially. If you wish to reword the motion, absolutely, you are welcome to based on those comments. I just wanted you to have all the information in front of you, but you're absolutely right. You do not have to change this budget if you wish not to.
And really quick too, I was going to say, you don't have to vote one way or another. It's up to you.
No.
I know
was just
that the
telling
first comment that you made was, you know.
I 100% support
Oh, okay,
that.
okay,
100% support it.
I don't want you to feel
don't-
compelled.
I'm not in support of changing the budget.
Gotcha.
Our budget is the budget. I understand if there is a major expense, if there is something new that is, I am 100% in support of the buyback vacation. I just do not feel that $6,000 warrants a change in the budget. That's just my thought process.
So
And
if we-
somebody very smart
If
shared
we
that
have a
with me.
budget, so that's, so 6,000 was never talked about in the past. So it will be a negative, so the budget will be negative.
We have potential to be over budget, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Fine.
There is potential to be over budget.
sure, that's okay.
And that is true for every line item.
Every line item.
You're absolutely right.
If paper costs go up, we may be over in supplies.
Right.
If,
Yep.
whatever cost goes up for electricity, gas, I mean, anything has potential to be over budget.
I think
100%.
historically, the library board has been reluctant to change a budget once we've established it.
Right.
My understanding is the city is probably more accustomed to changing the budget when it looks like they might exceed a certain line item.
They are, and you are welcome per Carl Johnson to do that, because they do that on a quarterly basis, which is why I gave you the information. If you chose to, it wouldn't look out of the ordinary for you to make that change, for you to have it reflect based on decisions you make this evening, but you do not. It's purely how the board would like to go forward.
Really, besides the budget issue, if we already have this on the books, and that we are just now activating it because the city of Novi has activated this buyback position, then there really is no need for us to make any action if we don't have to approve the budget, and we already have this policy on our
Correct.
books
You're
that
absolutely
has
right.
not been activated.
Yeah.
So in essence, this is information, but not necessarily requiring any action on our part.
Correct, because it's based on a budget, it's already a director's discretionary. I would move forward knowing that you are comfortable with the amount I shared with you this evening. That's what I'm looking for, is a comfort. So it doesn't have to be an approval. I'm going to understand then that I'd like to hear from all of you a comfort level so that I can move forward with.
Let me make a suggestion. And that's a very good point.
Yes.
Perhaps it would be helpful, and you can say if it's not, if instead of the motion as it is there, if we simply had a motion that said we support the
Absolutely.
activation
I like that.
of the
Vacation line back
vacation
program.
buyback. That way.
Going into effect.
That
Yes.
way it's on record that we heard about it.
Yes.
We understand there's a minor financial issue.
Right.
We've chosen not to adjust the budget, and we support the director implementing this at her discretion.
Thank you.
Do you want a motion of what you just said?
Well,
I
Sure.
don't think there is a motion required for that if we are not changing the budget.
Just to make it clean, I'm thinking? Is that what
But
you're
I
thinking?
appreciate
To
the
have it in
support.
writing?
Right.
That-
It's a motion to
Absolutely.
support it.
It's a motion to support.
Vote is there.
It's not budget. Yes,
It's
I
nice
do
to have it
appreciate
in-
that.
yes,
It-
that was my
Yep.
thought.
Yes. I agree
Based
with
on your comment about you just want us to feel comfortable, but my sense is, I don't necessarily feel comfort or not comfort, but if you come in with a budget that is way over budget,
Right.
and that this is part of the over budget, don't expect comfort from me.
Well, I understand that, but that's why I'm giving you the heads up.
Yes,
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't look at her and say, why is it over budget?
right.
She's going to say,
Back in
That's
September,
right.
we had that
That's right.
conversation.
That's
Yes.
it goes both ways.
so Melissa,
And I
do
am
you-
comfortable with that, 100%.
Thank you.
does the treasurer want to make a motion?
Oh, the last time I did that, it didn't go very well.
Oh, you can do it.
Will you do it, please, President? Thank you.
Does anyone else want to take a shot at it? Jeff, you look eager
I'll
at
do
the
it.
microphone.
No, I want to.
You want to do
Okay,
it?
yeah.
Okay, go.
I'll make a motion that we support the director's, what's the right word, initiative,
Reactivation?
reactivating the policy to do a vacation buyback for the employees of the library.
Wonderful, thank you.
And would you be willing to add to that in compliance with the city council changes as to the clarity of why?
Do we need that?
You would
You
not.
don't
I
necessarily have to.
I don't think that's necessary. That's
Don't,
my 2
okay,
cents.
thank you, all right.
I second
It's
If you
his
want to make your
motion.
own motion.
I second
Going
that
to
motion.
amend the motion, that would be an
Oh, my
amendment.
gosh.
Does everybody know what the motion is?
Yes, I second that motion.
Good.
Any discussion on it before we vote?
Oh, sorry.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passed unanimously.
Thank you so much for your support on that. I
That was
appreciate
fun.
it. Great.
Okay, we have reached the point for adjournment.
Motion to
Mr.
adjourn?
President,
Second.
Yes.
Sorry.
there's one, could you talk to you about the multicultural October 3rd?
Sure. On Tuesday, October 3rd, we have our second annual Diversity Day. This should be bigger and even better than last year's. As you know, last year was the first year that we launched this. Gail Anderson, our programming coordinator, has put this together. Multiple representation from different countries, different dignitaries that will be also at the event. I encourage everyone to be at the event. It's a great program. We're expecting, last year we had close to 1,000 in attendance. I would expect it's probably going to be even bigger. I made sure that I had 2 facilities people on staff just because it really got a lot of attendance and support from the community. She's been reaching out to many different cultures that are represented in Novi to have tables and do dance, make speeches, talk about different cultures. Food will be incorporated. I think it'll be just bigger and better than last year. And I know you were in attendance,
6:30
trustee.
to 8:30.
Yes,
Is this inside the library?
it is.
Thousands?
Thousands.
No, people come and
They
vote
come and
at
go.
That
Yes.
count is the
Yes.
thousand.
Open house
Okay,
style.
okay.
Yep.
It's pretty
So
amazing.
It's a diversity open house,
Wow,
basically.
Yeah.
okay, wow.
Food is by the ethnic people, they are free to eat. And special speaker, she is the VIP, Consul General of Japan will be
Yes.
the main speaker there.
So we're very excited, and
Thank you.
I know that you had a hand in helping Gail with some connections with some of the dignitaries that will be there as well. So I expect it to be bigger and better, because when we did the event last year, we had patrons from the community say, "Oh, I represent this particular culture. Do you mind if we come next year?" So it has grown. Yes.
And please repeat the date and time.
Tuesday, October 3rd, 6:30 to 8:30. Yes,
Could you send it to all our,
absolutely.
but this is she has initiated that, and she sent me, I sent it to other ethnic people, but I am requesting her to send it to all of us.
Sure.
I think Gail sent us something, didn't she?
Usually she does,
Did
so I
received
just,
something from,
No,
I
we have not
didn't
received
No.
it.
you haven't
No,
received
not
it?
that.
Only I
Okay,
have received it.
okay.
We received the October 2nd.
Yeah, I've just
I'll
seen
make
it in
sure
the
that you,
library.
I'll make sure that you receive
They're
it
all
then.
coming at one time. Anything else? Any other comments before we have the adjournment motion? Was there a motion?
motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you,
meeting.
everyone.